Welcome to Vicktoria Stars. I am your hostess, Vicktoria Schneps, the publisher of the Brooklyn Home Reporter and the Brooklyn Spectator magazines. You know, Brooklyn is a unique borough, inhabited by the best of the best in people, places, and happenings. And we will be bringing into your home those people who make our borough the greatest. So sit back and enjoy as I bring you tonight Renne McClure and Dolly Williams. Welcome. Renne, now you both are greatly successful women. And I know, would you share with us the title that you now hold?
I work for National Grid. I'm the manager of community and customer management, and I cover all of Brooklyn.
All right. And Dolly?
I'm the president and CEO of my company, A. Williams Construction, which I started in 1978.
Well, you know, I think this is, I'm feeling very strongly because I started my business from scratch 28 years ago. And I know that women have the hardest time in the balancing of the many balls we must do to be successful. And today you sit here as two stars and two people who have been well recognized, but it wasn't always that way. Renne, how did you get into this world of National Grid and this world where you are today? You know, where did you start out?
Okay. Well, I actually started out in Long Island. The company was Loco, and there was a merger between Loco and Brooklyn Union, which formed Keyspan. And then back in 2007, Keyspan was acquired by National Grid. Actually, my background is IT, so I have a degree in computer science. And with
How were you so smart to go into that so many years ago?
Many years ago, lots of years ago. And from that involvement with computer science, I really got involved with the community. So it was just a natural fit for me as we looked at ways to move through the company to transition from IT and also into the community world, because I got involved with a lot of nonprofit organizations.
Giving back. I saw your resume. You have a long line of give backs that you have to make both the company's visibility great, but also to give back to these groups that so desperately need it.
Absolutely.
You know, and I know, Dolly, you also started, I started with $250. I heard you started with $5,000.
I certainly did. And that was money saved up from the menial jobs that my husband and I did. And we wanted to put that as a down payment on a home. We have two beautiful children and wanted to get out of the apartment in the projects where we lived in East New York. So instead of doing that, we came up with, we really wanted to be entrepreneurs more than we wanted the home. So we invested. We come from both farm families, my ex-husband and I, and so we decided that we were going to go along. We were used to trucking and to digging and that sort of life.
What country were you from?
Trinidad.
Oh, okay.
And so is he. So we took this $5,000, located a very old truck way out on Long Island, and we went there, took this money out of the bank, and just purchased the truck. We had absolutely no idea what the regulations were, and we had no idea what we were in for, I have to tell you. And we started A. Williams Trucking and became entrepreneurs.
So when you had that truck, did you first have a job for using the truck, or once you bought the truck, were you finding a job?
We had no jobs, but we had an idea of where we can find work, because my husband was in the trucking business, was in the construction business. So working on the jobs, he, you know, met people, spoke to people, and he said to me, you know, we can do this too. Let's get the city record. Those days $1.50. Let's pick up the paper and we'll see jobs and we'll find out where they need a truck. And that's exactly what we did.
Remarkable,
Yes,
remarkable.
Absolutely.
So how did you get into your career, Renne? Where did you get started? Right out of college, or
Right
was
at
it
college, worked since I was 14 years old.
14?
14
At
years
what?
old. Community work,
Okay.
community centers, volunteered at different schools where I did, got involved with counseling. So that's always been a part of my life. So again, it was an easy transition. Even when I worked in the IT area, I would travel into Harlem, and at that time there was Malcolm King College was still in existence, and I would do career counseling there. So it's just something that I've always been a part of, and it's been traveling with me.
It's in your genetic makeup. It's in your
Absolutely.
genes.
Absolutely.
Because it's very interesting how you know, where you started too in your world, you know, probably coming from Trinidad and seeing, you know, in the construction a little bit. But, you know, I am in the journalism business, but I've never taken a journalism course, and I've never taken a business course. But I just kind of instinctually have learned. How have you, you know, been able to prosper so well? Renne, let's start with you. What put you on the track where you are today?
Well, even when I was in IT, I really enjoyed working on the project side. So trying to solve or bring solutions to where there were concerns or problems. So I think that's where my heart is, looking at how do we solve problems. So I was always on the project management side of the company, doing installations of different applications, identifying applications that would help the business run better. So again, that's something that was just innate with me. And then working in the community, working for organizations like, at one point, National President of BDPA, which is a...
You've got to explain what that is. You know it so well.
Yes, Black Data Processing Associates, was involved with that, started it as a local chapter president, worked my way up to national president, always FBLA, Future Business Leaders of America, from high school. So it's been something that just transitioned with me. It's just something I do. So when I get up in the morning, you know, my statement is, you know, how can I make a difference in someone else's life?
Wow. All right. That's very powerful. And Dolly, you know, you have built this construction company from one truck, and now I know you're on your own for many years, to how many trucks and how many projects?
Several,
Right.
several trucks and excavators, all kinds of tools and equipment, everything that it takes to do an excavation foundation for very small jobs, for very large jobs, but also to do general construction work and build new buildings. As you saw when you came to my office, we designed and built that back in 1998.
Beautiful, beautiful offices. Of course, you have to know, pardon me, everyone, but there's a woman's touch in this corporate office with the beautiful woods and the beautiful marble and the beautiful layout of the whole place and the lighting.
Well, I had a lot to do with the design. I knew exactly what I wanted. I wanted a kitchen. Well, I got 2 kitchens. I wanted, and because I'm involved in the community, and I always have parties and community events, I decided I wanted a community hall with a bar. And so we designed all of that. And building for other people, you know, they design something and you look at the drawings and you build it according to the specs and plans that they give you. But that building was built right over our heads. We basically designed it as we went along. We were the architects.
That's a luxury.
Yes, we designed this as we went along with the chalk and the line. Seriously, I was a physics major in high school, so I combined that with my common sense and the people around me and my son and my daughter and my engineer in the office. We decided, well, we could do this on our own. We had an engineer, of course, to design the foundation. But yes, you're right. It's sort of, for a construction office, it's sort of feminine. That's because a lady owns it.
Well, I believe we put a special touch on whatever we are involved in.
Exactly.
And I think that that's really the trick, too. You know, I think, how have you balanced your personal life with your professional life? Because being on a national board, I'm sure you have to travel a great deal.
I have a very understanding husband, an extremely understanding husband.
That's a blessing.
Absolutely. And so, and where possible, I kind of drag him with me, you know, of things that I think would be of interest to him. So that works well.
I think I met him at the Renne at Peter Meyer and Denise's wedding, right?
Yes, you did.
Okay,
Yes, you did.
I remember.
Yes, and so it's really time management. I have a 24-hour job, so that means that if anything happens, I have to be on call. So you just learn to balance it. And I do take vacations. I just came back from Myrtle Beach golfing for 3 days.
Wow.
So I had a good time. So when I take my vacations, I take my vacations. I work very hard and I play very hard. And so that's where your balance is, because you do need that downtime. You need that time to kind of reflect and kind of rejuvenate yourself in order
I call
to
it restoring my batteries. You know, it's like plugging in to get
Absolutely.
your batteries recharged.
It's so important.
Yeah. What do you do, Dolly, to recharge?
Oh, one of my things is antiquing.
I know.
Okay,
Tell us
I am
about
a-
your
I'm a
fabulous
junkaholic.
collection. No. Sorry, I'm not letting you get away with that. Nothing I saw that you had was junk.
Okay, I take that back.
Thank you.
But I travel a lot, all over the world. It's not just the United States to get stuff. When I choose a venue for vacation, you know it's got to be some antiquing and all of that in that venue. I look at that to see first if there's some place for me to go shopping while my kids do something else. And
So
I
where are
choose
your
my vacation.
favorite place? Because this is what I love to do.
My favorite place, I love to go to Pennsylvania and New Jersey, very close by Connecticut, the
Oh.
Catskills, Vermont, places that's close by that I can drive to. And then I love Europe because there are lots of sweet and
Oh,
nice stuff
absolutely.
there. I love France and Italy and Germany and Portugal, Spain.
So which place has been like a treasure trove? Is there a place that's been, you know, oh my God, I have to stay here longer?
Well, England did that to me when I went the first time, and I repeated that many times. I have a lot of relatives cousins who live there as well, so I don't have to pay any hotel to stay there. So it's like a cheap vacation. But we get in the car and we go shopping. But I Portobello Market.
Yes.
And
I bought some wonderful silver frames in that market.
oh yes, a lot of good silver
Yes.
in London, and some nice silver shop by some old, some people. Well, I met two very old Jewish men who had these shops right in Knightsbridge. Beautiful silver. You have to go there. I'm going to give you the address.
No,
They're
I'm
still
going to
there.
go with you. I think
We're
you
going to
should
go
come.
together.
I
I think we should all should go.
Yes,
all
all
gonna
right.
go.
We're gonna-
Good.
I mean, this is,
I think
I
so.
mean, I don't know. There's something. This past weekend, we opened our Long Island City flea market, and we called it a flea market and an international food bazaar. Well, you know, my son is running it, but I was running around making sure that I shopped till I dropped. Because after all, there were these wonderful vendors, and I got to get them business to make sure they're successful. But, you know, everybody had something interesting to sell. So, you know, for me, when I was at your place and I saw your collections,
Oh, I'm so passionate about that stuff. You know, I have to tell you, this is really great therapy for myself, and I think for millions of other women and men, that, as I found out. Because I can be thinking about, well, when am I going to pay this bill? What am I going to do? What's happening in the job? You know, what are we going to do today to solve this problem? But as soon as I look at some of those things that I collect, it takes me away in a different direction, and I'm totally calm. And that's why you see that all around me. It's not by accident. It's not by accident at all.
well, you know, I know that when I buy things on vacations, it brings me back when I look at it
Absolutely.
Yes.
to that point.
Correct.
And I get that. You know, that really is very true. Have you found, as a woman in business, and I don't know how it works with you, Renne, in terms of your business, I noticed you do a lot of the minority women. If you could share with our viewers how you've been able to navigate being a woman in business and using it for your benefit through some of these women initiatives that the government has allowed.
Well, I've always been an advocate, and I'm in business 34 years. I've always been a part of groups because I give back a lot to my community. Social responsibility is one of my things. But minority advocacy, minority and women-owned business advocacy is really my passion. And I become so passionate with it. I sometimes become angry when I see what should be happening, not happening. And we still have, although we have several programs. When I started, I knew nothing of, I knew I was a business person. I was a contractor. I had no idea. The fact that I was a woman, it didn't matter. This is what I was doing because this is what I thought was the lot that God gave me. This was the pursuit of my American dream. This is how I was going to achieve this American dream. So that was that was all I thought of. It didn't matter if I was a woman, if I was a minority. But then later I began to see that there were programs with the Port Authority, with the SBA, and the SBA helped me a lot. Low interest direct loans at that time to buy equipment and for working capital. And now we have so many programs with the state, the SDC, with the city, Department of Small Business Services, which there's so many. So people have a lot of ways to get into those opportunities. It was a bit different for me. The way I learned to do the business was to pick up the city record, see where the jobs
That's from the
were,
way you started, just the same way.
and go bid the job, get the bid bond. The first one I bid, I didn't even realize I had to have a bond. So of course I didn't, my bid was thrown out. So that's the way I learned. I learned a lot from agencies like HPD, the Parks Department.
And they held your hand a little bit?
Yes,
How
definitely.
does that National
definitely.
Grid, which is now what you're called, right? National
Correct.
Grid, is working with businesses like, let's say, Dolly's, to help her
It's interesting you mentioned that because we just had an event with the Brooklyn Chamber. I actually sit as the co-chair of the MWBE committee for the Brooklyn Chamber of Commerce, and we had something at National Grid where we had Citibank and National Grid and Con Ed, and we had a procurement session to talk about ways to get involved with the procurement programs that we have at National Grid. We have an excellent director of supply diversity, Carla Hunter Ramsey. She's relatively new to the team. She's been around for a while, but she's been doing an excellent job.
Maybe
really,
a future top woman in
absolutely,
business.
Absolutely. Yeah, she's been doing a great job and really getting the word out to share that information, you know, to look at ways in which we can increase our portfolio as we look across the, the company, because we are, a multicultural, multi-state company, and we're also an international company. So we get involved with a lot of things, both internationally as well as in the different states. We also have what's called employee resource groups, which one is called Black Leadership, or the Black Association, I'm getting them all mixed, Alliance of Black Professionals. And we also have WIN, which is the Women in Networking. So those are other ways that we get involved. We also have...
Now, what's the Women in Networking? That's interesting.
Women in Networking.
We're into this whole networking world, right?
Women in Networking is a group of women throughout the company, and it's actually both international.
So internally, within National Grid International.
And we look at ways to network not only externally but internally. We get involved with conferences, we have meetings. So we do things both internally and externally for minorities, whether you're Asian or African American, Hispanic, Pride. We have all those type of group, veterans. So we look at ways that we can, engage everyone in the company, because truly the strength of our company is based on the diversity.
Over LIPA's role on Long Island, or is that something that, is being negotiated? Because, it sounded like the governor wasn't too happy with their response to Sandy.
Well, we were involved with LIPA as far as managing from the workforce side of the company. But, LIPA has their own governing body. But our contract does end in 2013, and so I believe PSE&G is scheduled to take off where we pick up when we conclude.
So you won't be in Long Island, do you think?
We will be in Long Island, not from the electric side, but we definitely will remain in Long Island from the gas side.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay. So I think, it's interesting how companies evolve. What do you see for the future of your company, Dolly? Do you see that things are getting a little bit better? Is there more business available now? Have you feel just that little uptick?
Yes. Yes, definitely, definitely. And especially in Brooklyn. There's so much happening with the real estate market. Look, we are just booming here. And in addition to me being a contractor, I'm a small developer. So I'm always out there looking to see what I can buy and what I can build.
So where's the next neighborhood? What's the next neighborhood?
The Gowanus is the next neighborhood. We all know that. Because, look, we're done with Williamsburg, Park Slope, Carroll Gardens, Cobble Hill, Brooklyn Heights. So to complete that circle, we're all around the town center. We come off the bridges and we're right into downtown. And then we start off with Brooklyn Heights, and then we have Cobble Hill, Carroll Gardens, the Gowanus, Park Slope, Prospect Heights, and Fort Greene, and we make the circle. So we need those brownstone residential neighborhoods around us, and of course new buildings. So I think the next boom for building and residence and mixed use is the Gowanus.
I have my office we're putting a building up on 4th Avenue in Marine.
Call her.
So
Absolutely.
that we can have somebody before we even actually put in the lighting and the heating system.
Most definitely.
It should be looked at before we begin.
Absolutely. And we prefer that way because there may be opportunities when you're coming into the new building that we can actually do what's called a custom. We can look at the building from soup to nuts and give that opportunity to see if there's some savings that we can provide.
Well, on a total other tone, what do you do for fun, Renne? What do you do besides golf? Is golfing your
I
passion?
golf. I travel. travel. We just came back from a nice Mediterranean cruise in November.
Where did you
we went to Egypt, Israel, Turkey.
Did you see the pyramids?
Yes, we did.
Is it awesome?
It's awesome.
I haven't been to Egypt yet.
It was awesome. We were in Egypt, Israel for 2 days. We went to Turkey, Greece.
Did you go to Istanbul?
We went no, we didn't go to Istanbul.
Oh, well, Istanbul.
We were-
Okay, am I correct, Dolly, that probably the greatest international bazaar anywhere is
Yes, yes,
in
yes.
Istanbul?
Yeah, we
And I
didn't go
so want
there.
to go
Yep.
back.
Yes.
I actually went on a trip also but I went to Ephesus first because
Yeah, we
you
were in
know,
Ephesus.
Yes, yes.
Right.
Most people want to see the ruins and all of that. It's
Absolutely. We spent more
it's
time in the ruins.
fantastic.
It is.
That's another thing. Once you're into antiquity, you want to go see the Acropolis and you want to go to
Absolutely.
Turkey and Greece and Israel. And so I have been there, done
Let me
those
just tell
things.
you a trip that nobody's going on much. Tunisia. Tunisia has many of the oldest antiquities. And
Really?
yes, and relics and ruins that have really been restored.
Okay.
I like Islamic art as well. So I don't know. I think Tunisia may have. So Spain has some of that, which is like absolutely gorgeous. So I want to sometimes want to build something like that for myself to live in. But of course, that's my dream.
Well, there's no reason why you always have to have dreams, don't you?
Absolutely.
Yes, yes,
Keeps
yes.
you going.
Yeah, I think that's part of what happens, you know, being a woman in business and being entrepreneurial too, and with you being in a company that allows you to grow and allows you to have such an outreach that, you know, it's our creative energies that keep us alive and keep us
Yes,
going.
Most
yes,
definitely.
So,
yes.
you know, I think it's part of what makes us special. And I just think that in terms of some of the groups that you work with, I know, Dolly, you're very involved. What are some of your favorite local charities that you've been involved with? I mean, who came to visit you? I remember that you told me walked up all the steps. Because she's she doesn't have an elevator.
There's so many of them. Well, the elevator shaft is there.
Okay.
Yes, so it is hope.
That's what keeps her
As
young
soon
and
as we build a few more stories on the building, we'll have the elevator. But that's my only form of exercise besides doing some dance, and I haven't been doing that. But I did dance a lot at the park this Saturday night. But yes, some of my charities, I like to give a little bit to everybody, so I'm involved from Trinidad to India to America, whatever I can give. But my school, St. Francis, no, but it's not a charity, but I like to give a scholarship back to my college, St. Francis College.
Right here in Brooklyn?
Yes, that's where I graduated
Okay.
from the greatest school in the world.
Yes.
And I'm a trustee at the Brooklyn Children's Museum, so I like to help there when I can. And I was the president of the Caribbean American Center of New York for a while. So the West Indian Carnival, I volunteer, I do what I can, I sponsor little things. There's a lot of little things that I do for immigrant affairs.
She's got a long list.
Got a very long list.
I don't know, Rene.
Very
I think
long
she's
list.
challenging you because I know you have a long list too.
Well, you know, through the company, we do a lot. You know, we do give back to a lot of organizations. So that would be hard to name those.
But do you have a mission in terms of sometimes a company says, I want to do education or I want to do technology or I want, you know.
Right. Our company is focused on STEM, science, technology, education, and math. So anything that really deals in that area, as long as, and are also our 3 E's, education, the environment, and energy, we focus on those. So a lot of the programs and things that we do are centered around that. We're very involved with junior achievement. That is very big with the company.
Now,
we have a lot of employees.
How do you work with junior achievement?
Well, actually, I was a junior achievement when I was back in high school. I actually had an entrepreneur. We had our business back in high school. But from the company perspective, we do a few things. We have employees that actually go into the schools and they donate their time through the Junior Achievement by providing programs, business type of programs. Every year we host through the ERGs, the Employee Resource Group, we host what's called the Youth Conference, a youth conference where we identify a school, we bring that school in and for the whole day.
So have you personally done something like that?
Absolutely, I'm part of that.
What's
I
your
kind of
favorite?
coordinate that. I enjoy that program because we have an opportunity to bring students in. We brought in 60 students from Cristo Rey this year. And they came in and we
That's
gave
like
them
a
a full day.
mentoring program,
It's a
right?
mentoring program. We do interviewing skills and techniques, and we have our employees get involved, and we have them talk about their careers and give them information and insight. So we do things like that. We get involved with American Association of Blacks in Energy. We get involved with that program where we are involved with the
So
conference.
are you personally going to all of these different groups?
Yes, yes, yes. I haven't gone
No
into the
wonder
schools.
why she's working 24/7, right?
But you know, again, it's a give back, you know, because we're talking about how do we build a pipeline for our future. And so when we start working with our youth, you know, and providing those type of ideas and providing those type of pipeline opportunities, it really makes a difference, you know, and they can, because, you know, when you think of the utility business, it's not like it's not something that kind of jumps at people. So we have to find ways to show people that, you know, within the utility business, it's engineering, but there's so many other aspects of the company that you can get involved.
You know, the wondrous thing of having you here, Renne and Dolly, is just to learn about the world you're living in, and with all due respect, succeeding dramatically in.
Thank you.
And, you know, there's no magic pill to success. I think you'll both agree that the one magic ingredient is hard work.
Absolutely.
That's correct.
And the best
Hard
is yet to
work.
come.
Yes.
All right,
The
wonderful.
best is
Thank
yet
you
to
so
come.
much for being with me tonight.
Thank
Thank
you
you for having
us.
me.
Yes.